Hi there, this is Draco Wing, and today we will be building a Merfolk list from the ground up. So if you are looking into getting into this deck, which is currently just coming into tier 1 and doing extremely well in the modern formats right now, check this out because I will just build a deck and go through some of the considerations you might have for personal preferences or for meta game choices that you have out there. So just a little fun one. We'll be trying to build a Merfolk deck from the ground up. Of course, we want to say add deck here, and we call it Draco's Merfolk, and we're going to choose this one. It's pretty cool. First off, lands. I know, start with the most exciting stuff, right? In general, you want to start between having 19 or 21 lands, and if you're running 21 lands, it's typically because you're running Glasspool Mimic. So first off, consider if you like this card. Glasspool Mimic is a modal card, which is either a land that comes into play tap, but provides a blue source, or it's a clone effect, but only for your own creatures. This acts as a extra lord, and this has been really popular in the last year or so, but falling a bit out of favor. But if you run 21 lands, you can do 2 Glasspool Mimics, typically counters as 1, but I do not like Glasspool Mimic that much, so I rather just want to have my 20 lands. Then you can run 19 lands if you're a bit aggressive and you want to have a low curve. I'm more conservative myself, and I want to have full Muda Vaults and full Cavern of Souls and stuff like that. So let's do the lands here. First of all, islands. Let's get some islands in there. Of course, you want to be sure that you choose your island properly. You gotta have your own preference. And I do like these 7th edition land, but you can choose whatever you want here. Typically you can just put in between 8 or 10. The reason why I want basic islands is you're gonna avoid Blood Moon, which is a really popular card in Modern. So between 8 and 10 is decent. You also want to get in Muda Vault, and if you are on a budget and you just need to have a couple of non-basic lands, Muda Vault would be my first choice. I'll get 4 into the deck. You can run, I would say, 3 or 4, but Muda Vault is really great right now. With 12 lords, which we have available, will come later, I think Muda Vault is great right now. We also like Cavern of Souls, and this is where it gets a bit pricey on the economy. Cavern of Souls is a great card because it allows us our creatures to come in uncounterable. Wow, that's crazy strong. So let's get 4 of those in there. Is there any bad drawbacks to the Cavern? Yeah, we can't hardcast Force Negation or Counterspell of this, and if we have other creatures in the deck, like Subtlety, we can't cast those either. But in general, it's a really, really good card. So let's get in there. And then, what other cards could you choose? The first one I would say is we have the Kamigawa, no, not Kamigawa lands. Yeah, Kamigawa style lands. We have the first one I think was Oboro. You can take Oboro. Oboro, really nice card. It's just a blue source that comes into play untapped, but has a bit of upside. You can also take Minamo, which allows us to untap our legendary permanent, which is Svelu. It's pretty good. And then of course Otawara. And Otawara is my favorite of the 3, also the most recent edition. People are always putting in Otawara. It's not even that expensive, and it's really strong because it's a free blue source. The only drawback is that it will get hit by Blood Moon, but that's not a big drawback. And then you can use Channel on the effect and use it as a bounce spell. Really, really strong. So I would say run 1 or 2 Otawaras. And then I prefer Oboro actually. So I'll take in 1 Oboro. And then also you can choose to have either Warlock Grove or Fiery Island. These Canopy style lands, which can be cycled later. And these are really up to different preferences. If you are risk averse, it'll knock you some damage. But if you, like me, like to take a bit of risk and want to be able to cycle it late, I'll put in a couple of those. And now 22 lands. Oops, not looking good. But we can cut 2 of the islands and going down to 8 islands. That's fine. If you're on a budget, you can cut down on Cavern of Souls. It will hurt you, but it's the most expensive card. Fiery Islands, you can get Warlock Grove instead. Warlock Grove is not really that expensive. You can get Muda Vaults and Otavaras. Oboros is really expensive, so don't buy that. 1-drops. If the best 1-drop we have is the Tideshaper, and we need 4 Tideshapers, and that's a really easy card to put in the deck because Tight Tipper is an uncommon, so it's really not that hard to get a hand on. You need that card. Great card. The other thing is the Ether Vial, and this is where, if you're on a budget, if you're building this on a budget, I would definitely say Ether Vial is one of the first spots where you need to invest. This deck does not really work without Ether Vial. It's so strong, it allows you to deploy 2 threats in the same turn, and also allows you to play all your creatures at instant speed with uncounterability. That's so strong. I do like to have a couple of more 1-drops, and Vigilant Dockhand has been really strong lately, and I like Vigilant Dockhand. You can also choose Curse Catcher, and you can also go all the way up to 4 Vigilant Dockhands. Maybe you want to be aggressive, and then you can play 19 lands and have 4 Vigilant Dockhand. That could be a pretty cool strategy. Now we go to the 2-drop spot, and of course we have the Lord of Atlantis. We're the Lord of Atlantis, and we have Black Vic in the chat. Hey, welcome to the chat here. We're just building a deck, a Merfolk deck right out the bat. Lord of Atlantis is the original OG, really old card from 1993. So great. I think this is actually the only modern playable creature that's printed in Alpha. So that's pretty nice. But we do have Master of the Pearl Trident as well, which is kind of a copy of that. So let's get on the Lord. Now we have all the nice Lords, but we also have the Curse Catcher, which is a Lord that also, Hex Catcher. Hex Catcher, of course, which is a Lord that also allows us to interact with the non-creature spells. What a great card. And then another interactive 2-drop, which is really important, is the Merfolk Trickster. Nice anti-creature card. I really like Trickster. Allows us to tap down opposing creatures. It also does a lot of things that's, coming out of nowhere, like shrinking down a Tarmogoyf and letting a Dragon Rage Channeler go down and be a 1/1. It's a really strong card. Okay, what other 2-drops we normally have? We normally have the Silvergill Adept. It's falling a bit out of favor, Silvergill Adept, but I still like to run 2 of those. And then instead of those 2, I want to have a couple of Spreading Seas. I think Spreading Seas are amazing right now, and I actually want to have access to all my 8 Spreading Seas in the 75. So I put in a couple of there. Let's go to the 3-drop spot. In the 3-drop spot, we have the best card. I can spell Sverloon. See here. Here it is, Sverloon, the Guard of the Merfolk. What an amazing card. This is a card advantage engine, so I really like this card. It's so strong. And then we have 6 slots back. This is the regular flex spots, and here you gotta look into what do I need here. One of the primary things you need to be able to handle is a Ragavan turn 1, and Dismember is right now the best choice. But again, putting in Forest Members to the deck is kind of risky because you will take 4 points of damage each time you cast it. So I might take one of those to the sideboard and have him there. And then there's other options here. I like Subtlety. You can put in 3 Subtleties in the deck. They are great at the moment, but the problem with Subtlety sometimes is that it's not good in all matchups, but it can be a threat in its own, because the alternative you can do is you can have Force of Negation. What a great card. What a great card. Force of Negation, where you can interact with non-creature spells. I really like Force of Negation, but I wanted to have it in the sideboard, because I do have interaction against non-creature spells, but you can definitely play that in the main deck. But I want to have some creature interaction. So Subtleties, Dismembers, and Tricksters allows me to interact with creatures, and I like that. That's pretty good. Then one of the best cards from the sideboard is the Chalice of the Void. We're gonna get, not in the main deck, we don't have room for that. We'll get it in the sideboard. What else we need here? Let's just only 33. Then we can have the Harbinger. It's pretty great. Let's get in a couple of Harbingers. And what else? We have 2 more slots in the sideboard. What should we get in there now? You could go for Graveyard Hate, and if you go for Graveyard Hate, you can choose the Relic. The Relic of Progenitus, which is a pretty decent one. It's fallen a bit out of favor, also because Chalice of the Void for 1 is kind of awkward when you have a Relic as well. But also there's the Hearse, the Unlicensed Hearse. which is a really nice card as well. Here you select the cards you remove from the graveyard, but the alternative strategy, and don't focus that much on in general, the graveyard. Many of the decks you want to beat that's feature graveyard hate, you can easily beat those guys with something from the sideboard. So what else do you want here? You could choose, if you want to really have something to hedge against the artifact-based decks, Hurkyl's Recall is a great choice, and you can also get that from a really old set. I think it's original from Alpha as well. Really old card, not on Moto, but in paper you can. But I think actually, maybe because I see Murktide is really hammering hard, I want to test out having the full set of, let's see here, where to go, hopping, and having full on that one here. Pretty nice. Hopping outside is, I think, pretty great right now. So let's see how it goes when we stacking up all the way up. So that's a list. I think that works pretty decently. Bit aggressive against Blood Moon, only 8 islands. Maybe we are a bit aggressive on the 5 islets. That could be a concern, but let's try it out. Another thing you could be considering is also the Ratchet Bomb. I love Ratchet Bomb. That's great as well. Great card here. But this is a modern Merfolk deck, and I think it's going to be pretty nice. So if you want to build a deck like this, don't forget you can get the cards on Card Hoarder. You can rent the cards there with a loan account, or you can even just buy them directly to your account and get some action in there. So pretty sweet, and hopefully you would also enjoy playing a deck like this.